All right, folks. Good morning. Welcome to the pre-market show. Good morning, Peter. How are you doing today?
Carlos, I am fantastic. How are you on this beautiful Friday?
Always good, my man. Always good. So happy Friday to everyone, and welcome to the pre-market show. Let's see what we got going on here. Looks like the SPY is popping nicely, quite a bit here. So must be some news. We'll get into that in a second. But first, let's go over our top plays and highlights from yesterday. I got a lot on here, but the main watches was these up here. This one was a possible. It's low flow stocks. We want to be cautious of this one. And these are some secondary ones we looked at because they seem to have something going on, either news wise or they had a nice gap up, but not the best pre-market activity, but also ones that you want to watch later on throughout the day. Anyway, with that said, Norm will not be joining us today. He'll be back next week. He's doing some traveling. So Peter will be filling in for us, which seems, Peter, you've been becoming a regular in the last couple of days.
I know I've been enjoying my time here on the pre-market show, but don't get used to it. I will be gone for a couple of weeks, so you'll be back to your regular schedule.
All right, excellent. All right, guys, so let's look at what we had yesterday. AUPH. This one was on fire. I'm going to bring up here the 5 minute, kind of include some of the pre-market action we had, and then we are going to look at the 1 minute as well. So again, beautiful pre-market activity on this one yesterday in the morning, and then just became a beautiful sell-off here. It did not give you an opportunity for a rising devil. We usually want to see this pop come up towards the VWAP and then sell off. It did not do that. Right at the open, small pullback, and then just a beautiful drop. And then unfortunately, it was not a great, if you're looking for a 5 minute opening range breakdown, it was not a great one. It dropped, just got too extended off the VWAP. Once you see that extension leaving the VWAP this much, you want to be cautious taking a 5 minute opening range breakdown, because look how extended this is from the VWAP. You know a pullback is coming, so you want to wait for that pullback. Maybe if you get in this area here, you could have had a little drop, but again, this drop was just too much, too extended. Under 1 minute, this would have been a great entry for a short. Brian called this out. I also called this out for a possible short here. It ran. It did, unfortunately, did not get all the way towards the low of the day, but you were able to get at least a few points out of this one on this nice drop here. Then from there, it just became, it started holding, doing higher lows here, kind of starting to build a little uptrend here. Unfortunately, this kind of messed it up nicely here. If you were looking for a pop around this area for the break of the VWAP, which is this blue line right over here, you would have gotten stopped out here. But then here, there's a beautiful squeeze above the VWAP, which became really nice. Again, Brian then called this out earlier or later as well in the chat room for a possible break towards the long side on AUPH. So again, a lot of opportunities on here. Unfortunately, not the opening range on the 5, which I love to trade. That one was not available today. Yesterday on that stock. ACAD was one that, again, very active on the pre-market, but at the open, again, almost just really choppy, right? You got this nice drop that happens here. Next candle is really not anything that's tradable. There's no patterns being formed, and then it just shoots up right above the VWAP and then rejects this somewhat level of the pre-market that we had here, right? Again, so just a tough trade here on ACAD. Eventually, after settling down after an half hour or so, it does become a beautiful short, right? So this is kind of like a false VWAP breakout. Tries to get above the VWAP, cannot. And the next candle comes right back to the VWAP, and the next one just loses it, right? So you don't want to go short here. When we take these false VWAP breakouts, you want to wait for the test. Right, here's a test of that level of the VWAP again. If it cannot stay above the VWAP, close above the VWAP, and it goes right back down, it is a good indication that the stock is weak, because it tries several times to stay above the VWAP, it cannot. And then usually, guys, this is a great trade. It happens quite often. It grabs onto the 9 moving average and becomes a nice short. And this one did just that. Pull back towards the 20. Once you get some cushion, right, you might take a partial here. Don't get faked out by it testing the 20. After it gets a little bit extended, it will go back down to test the 20. If it breaks that, that's when you want to stop out of this trade. We talk about this in class number 4 in our strategies. Let's look at PCG. So PCG's has been very active. Yesterday, pre-market gapped up quite a bit. It looked like it was going to do something, but then at the open, just kind of collapsed, right? So nice big drop here. I saw several of you guys call out opening range 5 minute breakdown on this one and took this trade nicely. So excellent job there. And look at this beautiful drop, just heading all the way down towards $9 from $9.90. So again, that is a good move on PCG. So congrats to those that took that nice little trade here. Did find the bottom eventually here. Beautiful base being built around 905, and then from there did a VWAP reversal back towards the VWAP. That would have been a nice move as well. After seeing that it's holding, that it no longer wants to make a newer low. We talk about this as well in classes. When a stock doesn't want to make a newer low on the 5, it could be an indication that the buyers are stepping in and buying this up. And this candle here is a great indication of that too. You can see the drop here opens up, comes right back up, being bought above this level one more time. So PCG was nice off the bat at the open, and as well if you were patient and waited for this consolidation to happen, and then the bounce towards VWAP. ESTC, I did not watch the price action closely on this one. I did have it on my list. It was all the way to the left side of my scanners, of my watch list, because just the pre-market activity was so bad on this one. I really should have changed this for like a Roku or something else on here. But again, it's just nothing really clean. You do have somewhat of an engulfing crack here, but it's not clean. With the wicks are too wild. When you have these wicks are so wild like that, you want to be cautious of this stock. And if you look at the 1 minute, you really don't got any patterns going here. So again, nothing fun there on ESTC. Sage was on fire. Sage, we took an entry here for a long on Sage. This was really nice, guys. Brian took it even earlier. He got in somewhere in here. I waited for the pullback, but this is a beautiful trade for Brian here. Nice entry towards the top and took advantage of that. Then it got halted somewhere in here, I believe around this area here. The majority of you guys were out. I think some of you guys were still in this trade at that halt, but your entry was so good that, you know, even if it did pull down a little bit, you would have been okay. So I know some of you guys were waiting for this halt, and you got an opportunity to get out of that once it opened up again. So good job there. Roku was also a nice one after it settled down. Beautiful drop here below the VWAP. The first 15 minutes or so are very choppy. You see this drop, and it looks like it's going to do an engulfing crack, a bullish engulfing crack, right? So this could have faked you out here. That looks like a strong power move and a change in direction. Roku was actually up yesterday, so more the reason why to take this towards the long side. But as you can see here, it fails and then gets below the VWAP. Good indication that it most likely is not going to be strong and head even lower. So it did just that, dropping nicely. You got a beautiful ABCD pattern forming here. You can see that right on there on the 5 minute. And then from there, it does a VWAP reversal. But again, this is tough to trade because Roku could be so whippy. So the price action looks a lot clean now in the 1 minute, but we all know how this thing looks in actual real time. It is it's one of the most difficult stocks to trade, right? So unfortunately, not as easy as it looks. RH, on the other hand, this was a low flow stock, and this one just took off, guys. Not a great pre-market activity. They have some positive news. I think they're sitting at all-time high, and once they squeeze above the pre-market high, they just took off. Just took off nicely. Gives you a nice pullback here. I did see this pullback, but it's just such a tough stock to trade because it is a low flow stock. You don't know, how it's going to trade. Sometimes it can be very choppy, but yesterday I was definitely wrong. This is a beautiful hold of this VWAP, and then you can see how it just trends nicely all the way up, following the 9 EMA. So if you traded this stock, obviously with good risk management, you was able to catch a really nice move here on RH. And then some other notable mentions. KR had a nice drop. We're not going to go into all the details. Nike also not as clean as we thought it was going to be, and actually we're looking for a long play on this one. We didn't get it. And Facebook, I believe Norm traded Facebook yesterday. He got in pretty nice here. He took he got it in for a long here, took some out. I believe he added somewhere in this area. I don't recall exactly where he added. I think it might have been in this area here, and probably either stopped out, took out some out here, or stopped out for the rest here still for a nice green trade. So a nice trade there. Norm, he called out in our chat room. All right, Peter, what do we have for the SPY on this beautiful Friday? Anything going on? Anything exciting that we should be aware of? Any meetings? Any fun stuff?
Well, let's start with the global futures. Everything is up marginally in the world, so we're seeing a little bit of an update, but that can change at any point in time. However, supporting it here in the North American markets, you mentioned that there was a little pop on the SPY. That happened when the announcement came from the U.S. payrolls. We had the non-farm and private payrolls both beat the estimates, so I think that gave it a little pop, as well as the unemployment rate dropped marginally, so from 3.6 to 3.5%. So those gave the little boost to the SPY. After that, I'm not aware of anything else that's supposed to be announced later today. So let's hope that we don't get any more tweets or anything. We had a little bit of action yesterday in midday, or maybe it was early afternoon. I can't remember where. Never figured out what happened, but the SPY just plunged a couple of points and then came back up, and no explanation. So I have no idea what happened, but hopefully we don't see that again today, because I can just mess up an otherwise perfectly good trade.
Yes, I agree 100%. All right, so again, we got some good stuff happening here. You can see a nice pop on the SPY again, just doing very nice this morning. All right, let's see what we got in our gappers list. We don't have as much as we've been seeing over the last couple of days. This thing just has been massive list, but today's a little more small. I think we got 5. So let's start over with BIG here is 827,000 shares traded, so it's quite a bit of some volume here. We have a nice pre-market activity. What's the news on Big? Oh, I see on here pre-market earnings today. So I guess go ahead.
Yeah, that's exactly it on Big. They beat their estimates, so they had a good earnings report. They were just marginally over the expected numbers. So Big is I don't know, like I have traded it in the past, and it's you just never know what to expect. Every once in a while, you get a really good day in it, and today might be one of those days. Other times, I mean, if you look at that daily chart, right, it's fairly just sort of choppy up and down. So.
Yep, I could see that. Yeah, it's not the cleanest trading stock, that's for sure. We have seen this before in our gappers list, and again, just not the greatest. But today it looks like we got some nice pre-market activity, a nice little pop here, leaving this area of some nasty consolidation happening here. You can tell here just every candle overlapping the previous one. And what I like about this one is again, it was kind of selling down, kind of building up for a double bottom. This is a previous level of support at 19, and today we got this nice little shot up. So anybody that was short in here is now being squeezed to the heavens. They're going to be looking to bail out of this pretty quick with the great positive news here. So definitely looking forward to how that is going to trade today. CLVS, 192,000 shares traded so far. This one, as we all know, guys, this has been quite a ride for this one. So we leaving $3 here. We left this, went all the way up to 17, almost 17.50 here, and then just got this nice doji looking like candle here on the daily. Beautiful drop the next day, and then from there, which is kind of heading lower and lower. So today, pre-market activity is not looking all that great. We do have some volume, most of it sitting in this candle here, 80,000 out of the 192 that we have. So horrible pre-market activity, but I can expect some kind of continuation to happen today on this one. We at an interesting level here. It is an area where we have some resistance and we have some support, so that's also interesting for CLVS. And again, just the volume of CLVS the last month really has been incredible. So we'll see what we can get out of this one today. We'll definitely want to take a look at that one and watch the action. CRWD. So CRWD this morning, 154,000 shares traded. I do not like what I'm seeing in the pre-market action. I do not like what I'm seeing on the daily chart. So we're stuck within this consolidation area, right? So we kind of have this area here and this area here. You have our red lines here are the highs and lows of the last 2 trading days, previous day close. So it's kind of stuck in a very nasty range right now. Pre-market activity is not looking all that great. This would be great if it can get out of this range somewhere, either towards the top, towards the bottom, where we have some room to run one way or the other. But right now, it's just not looking all that great. We'll keep it on here. Hopefully, this thing can get better. Peter, we have any significant news on CRWD here?
Yeah, so this is also earnings. They announced their earnings, and it's a little bit of an interesting story. So they beat their numbers, but not by as much as people thought, because there was a misprint on some of the news reporting that sort of indicated that they had better earnings than they really had. So I don't know if it wasn't a huge mistake. It was a couple of points, but it may result in some price action today on CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike was if you remember, it only IPO'd, what was it? Not long ago, right? Earlier this year, I think it was June of this year. And it had a great little motion about a few weeks after it had opened, and then it just plummeted and then has since sort of been hanging around in this $50 range. So who knows, maybe this is a catalyst to get it moving again. But I don't hold out a lot of hope, to be honest, that today's the day for CrowdStrike.
Yep, absolutely, especially on a Friday. So we'll see. Although the SPY are putting in some big moves right now, so that's good. So it is not a low float, guys. It is on the lower side. It is 19 million shares on the float. Usually anything below 20, I want to be cautious with. But this is one we traded before in the past, and it trades okay. It trades clean. You're not going to get dropped on, $3 or something like this. So it's tradable. All right, next DT. So DT here. What do we have? So DT, we have 471 on the volume, and we are down 2.4 on this one this morning. So nice drop there. Pre-market activities doesn't have any flow to it. Where's this volume? 471. I'm just not seeing it. this morning. Even with the candles here, it doesn't look all that great. But we do have a decent daily though. The daily does look nice. You can see a nice little pop here, nice little pattern you can catch. The daily looks like it's holding on to some levels we have here, low of yesterday. And also we have the low from 2 days ago right on here. So some clean levels. Looks like we're getting top and kind of heading back down. Looks great for a possible short, but right now there's just no activity happening here. Even with this 471, this does not look clean or good at all. So we'll keep it on here. Again, it's a Friday. We don't have a lot on here. So stock like this, when we don't have anything else that looks better, we can keep on our watch list and then make a decision later as we fine tune things. Let's go over Nasdaq active.
Yeah.
Nasdaq. Yep, go ahead.
Just add in on DT. So there is news that's pushing this. It's not the strongest news as I normally consider it. They've just announced the pricing of a secondary offering. So they previously announced the offering. They just added the pricing details at $24.75 a share, which is usually dilutive to the stock price. So that's why you see the price dropping from just above that $24.75 marker to where it is now. I don't, like you said, it doesn't look great at this point, but with little on the list, it may be worth keeping an eye on. Once you go through the Nasdaq, I've got a couple more we could potentially look at, Carlos.
Yep, absolutely. We'll definitely do that. All right, guys, let's get to our Nasdaq active, Nasdaq gainer. So ONTX. This one on here, more of a penny stock. This one gapped up, also was in our list a couple of days ago as well. Remember that. ONTX has been making some noise. So you can see the volume over the last couple of days is kind of increasing. But again, it's more of a penny stock. We'll skip this one. Plug is always on our list here making some noise, but not really anything that trades very clean. So I'm just going to bypass this one right now. It always has this type of volume, 2.8. It is up usually 3-4%. But it does not trade well at all, guys. So I'm just going to skip this one. Sava, S-A-V-A. This one this morning, not looking pretty neither. Pre-market activity looks crappy at the moment. And also, look at this daily. I mean, look at this pre-market action today. Here's the bottom, here's the top. So again, nothing too exciting on this one that I like neither. So I'm going to skip this one. SRRA.
Sava.
Yep.
I know you just moved over Sava. There was news on that. They had positive phase 2 trials on a drug. It is a lower float stock, and as you said, I like it when they steadily go up after the announcement. Yep. This one sort of popped, and now it's drifting downwards. But some of these have surprised me. Well, it's only a $2 stock, again, with little on the list, and maybe one you sort of put onto the side and see if it gets some excitement after the open.
Just for you, Peter, I'm going to put it right here for you, my man. So, yeah, we'll definitely take a look at it. It is not a lower flow. It's actually 16, so it's on the lower side, but not a low flow. So, worth watching. But you're right, Peter. I do not like when stocks do this. They pop up, and then it just kind of dwindles all the way right back down. I mean, think about it. If you're sitting here with $1.25 and you pop up $2, you have a significant number of shares. You're taking profits. You're taking that out because you just never know with these type of stocks. SRRA, this one more of a penny stock. It's kind of doing an ABCD pattern here. Here's your A, B, C, and D on the daily. Nasty, not as clean. Pre-market activity is horrible. We do have a block trade here of 169. But again, this is nothing we want to be involved in. It's 148,000 shares traded, up 27%. But nothing we want to have any involvement with. Nasdaq ETF QQQ is doing very well this morning, up almost 1%, trying to get there. CORV, also another nasty like looking stock, looks like a pharmaceutical company. Horrible daily chart, not a clean pre-market activity. Even with this 570, just nothing great here for us to look at. And again, guys, not that this is not tradable and that not that there are no opportunities, but our style of trading and the style of the stocks that we look at are just have a little different criteria that we try to find every morning. And the best way to be consistent is to consistently trade the same type of stocks, right? If you start bouncing around from left to right, you're just not going to find consistency. So yes, this can be tradable. You can find some opportunities, but in the name of consistency, you want to trade the same type of stocks over and over and over again. Just get pretty repetitive on this stuff, and you can build some consistency. Let's hop down over to AMD. So AMD is popping up nicely with the market. Obviously, on a day like today, is worth watching. Not great volume. I like AMD during this time of day to have already 700 plus. But with the list today, we can definitely add this on here. That's about it on the Nasdaq active. So let's look at Nasdaq gainers. Let's move this over. DOMO, not doing much, no volume. Sava, we looked at already. We added that one on. KNSA, no activity. BHAT, also no action. ZUMZ, nothing going on there. CRIS, also not great. Ulta, we have looked at this one in the past. So Ulta's popping up. 50,000 shares right now, up 8.5. It is a higher pricey stock, but we have looked at this quite a bit, and it has traded very well. I actually we had an amazing trade on this one in the chat room when it had gap down. So I do remember that one. This is why I'm going to pull up, see what the float is. We're looking at 56 million shares float on this one. So it could be interesting because of this gap up here, guys. But overall, pre-market activity is not looking all that great. But I remember it's funny, when you have a great trade on some of these stocks, you remember their names, and also you remember the real bad ones, right? But you remember the ones you had great trade on. So if I season the scanner, the turbo breakup, turbo breakdown, I am going to take a look at it and see what's going on. But right now, not looking all that great. So let's head down over to ALEC. Nothing happening here. No volume. EZPW. Nothing going on there. No activity. What else we have? CRIS. Also, I think we looked at this earlier. Nothing going on there. All right, guys. So that is what we have. Nasdaq active, Nasdaq gainers. Peter, you mentioned you have some other ones that you liked this morning. And then we'll go to the chats and look at what you guys have on your end.
Yeah, so let's just go back to one that you mentioned here, ULTA. They did report after the close yesterday. I know in the room we were watching it just to see. It had it was jumping around a little bit right after the close. So they mixed earnings. So they missed slightly on the revenues, despite the fact that comparable sales were up. They beat on their earnings, but sales is usually an indicator of future earnings. That being said, they also narrowed their guidance within the range, but towards the high end of it. So it's really a mixed message, which on ULTA it's one of those weird sort of higher priced, not really a low float, but it sort of moves like a low float type stock. So
Yep.
I for me, it's just sort of like a secondary type of item. So again, we seem to have a lot of stuff we're saying, maybe, but we're going to put to the side. So this would be another one. But I essentially have two more that go into that category. CLDR. It doesn't hit our list only because its ATR is only 37 cents. So that's the average true range, which is how much on average it moves over the course of a day. So it's not normally a big mover, but they did have earnings. They did beat their numbers. It doesn't look great pre-market, but on an earnings play, I have traded this in the past, and it wasn't bad. So one worth considering anyways on a day like today. And the other one, let's see if it's popped onto your list now. It's Tesla. Again, doesn't look great pre-market, but there is news. So Tesla, sort of popped up a month ago. It's sort of been consolidating roughly in this range, especially over the last week or so. But there was news overnight that being that they are manufacturing some of their cars in China, because they've built a factory in China, China has granted them subsidies for any purchasers. So like we had in North America, where there are subsidies for buying electric cars, they're offering subsidies, the Chinese government is, off the purchase, which could give a boost to their Chinese sales. So I expect some potential movement out of Tesla today as a result of that news.
All right.
That's what.
Yep. Perfect. Yeah, I do like the way Tesla is forming here. So it's got a nice consolidation. So we'll definitely look at that. And CLDR, you're right. We have traded this before in the past very well. So that will be a good one to watch also. All right, let's see what you guys have on your end. I see some more coming up here in our gappers list. So Sage could be putting in some kind of continuation today. So Sage is interesting. Doesn't have a great pre-market activity, but the volume is starting to come up here. 109. With 3.6. This could be a good possible. I'm going to throw this down here because it did have some good action yesterday. Could put in a continuation today. TTEC also coming up on our gappers. Just want to take a look at what's going on there. 117,000 down 3.9. This stock has been beating up quite a bit. Pre-market activity just starting to get going here. And the last couple of days been taking a very nice hit. So interesting. Let's just look at the daily. I like this drop. It's barely holding on to some levels here. If we can lose that, it could be nice for a short. We'll take a look at it. We'll take a look at it a little bit closer on TTEC. All right, guys, let's see what you have. So let's start here with Sava. We have Tesla. We have NVIDIA. Let's take a look at that. NVIDIA right now, NVIDIA's kind of like AMD. So it's in that range where if the stock is popping up right now, so NVIDIA is going up, AMD is going up because the SPY is doing so. So this could be a good one to watch as a secondary list. So like, for example, if you want to watch one of these type of stocks, you could watch AMD, NVIDIA, MU. Could be one that you can keep on there. Let's look at Baba. I'm not going to put it on right now. I'm going to watch MU for the most part. at the moment. It might not make it the final list, but we'll watch that one right now. Baba's got a great daily. It looks like it wants to break out here. It doesn't have the most cleanest pre-market activity. We've seen better from Baba over the last couple of days, but the daily looks very nice, guys. I mean, just look at the way this thing's been trading. Comes up here, sets a range, breaks out. Comes up here, starting to did like a pullback here. Obviously, the SPY had to do a lot with this here, and now it's right back up at the highs that it was before. So it just looks very strong, like a possible breakout at least to 202.50. It looks good. It looks very good for that. So I do like Baba. If you like to trade Baba, definitely put it on your list. I'm not going to put it on my list because me personally, I'm just not great at trading it. So I'm going to try to find something else that I'm really good at. This is a stock that I just have a lot of bad experience every time I take a trade on it. Just seems not to work out, right? So just my luck with this one. There's some stocks that their price action is difficult for certain type of traders to read, so you got to be aware of that, right? For example, Roku is very whippy, AMD and MU are not, right? So depending on your style, you can fine tune your watch list even based on that as well. What else we have? So that's Baba. Baba looks good, guys. Put that on your list. I'm not going to add it to mine. Sage, we have TTEC, we have as well. Oh, that's an offering. So around the 3 million share offering at 36.50. If it is an offering, then it's not going to be fun to look at this one. So we'll take a closer look at that. Docu, D-O-C-U. Oops. Change it up here. D-O-C-U. All right, so DOCU, what do we have? So this one, nice gap up 8.1, even higher when it was hitting at 79. Now it's losing it a bit in the pre-market here. Not the best pre-market activity, guys. It only has 89,000 shares traded, so the volume is a little bit light. I do like this pop here, but it looks like it wants to lose and probably head back down. But again, we just need a little bit more volume on Docu right now. So pre-market activity is very light at the moment, but I do like this pop. I'm not gonna lie to you. This pop looks nice. This all-time high as well, because that does make it even more interesting. It looks like it is. Yeah,
it is.
You know what? We will definitely put this on the list. I like the way the daily looks on it. I like the pop. I don't like the pre-market activity. Hopefully that can get going a little bit better. But I do like the way this is popping up here. All right, so Docu's on the list. ZM. Zoom, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah, Zoom video. So let's see what Zoom is up to. Oh, nice big drop on Zoom. Down 7.1. This is going to hit our scanners in a few minutes, in a few seconds probably. 98,000 shares traded. This is a very nice drop here. Thank you for bringing this one up, Stan Demand. And yeah, I like this one. Let's put this one on here. This looks good. I like the way the drop is on this one. What do we have? Schwab, SCHW. We'll do a few more before we get into our announcements. SCHW here. It's not all that great. No volume at the moment, guys. The daily looks interesting. It's been coiling up here on this, building this range around 51 to 48 after they did this beautiful gap. This was the news of them acquiring TD Ameritrade, so that's going to make them a little more powerful because they're eliminating the competition. It's going to make them a lot bigger. So two giants joining together here. So this is good. It's consolidating here. It looks like they were trying to get nice pop going here, but at the moment, just the volume just seems so light right now. Plug, we looked at Sahil. I don't like Plug. We looked at it before several times. It does not trade very clean. So again, stay away from these type of stocks that are always on this Nasdaq active Nasdaq gainers, but they're not really clean trading stocks. YEXT. So YEXT, this one, wow, that's a big drop on YEXT. That's a nice big drop, 23%. Now this list is starting to get a little bit too long. I'm gonna throw it on here. We might not watch it, but this drop is nice. Even for a secondary look at our watch list, we can definitely watch this one. Let's look. So we have Baba. Baba is great, guys. Adjo, definitely add Baba to your list. I'm not watching Baba personally. Let's look at CGC, the Nike. So here's CGC. Does not quite have the volume, and what I don't like about CGC, has been struggling to get out of this range, right? It did this nice beautiful move here, but then it's just kind of been stuck in this range. I don't see anything exciting unless there's any news, any catalyst that can propel it out of this nasty zone. I don't think anything's happening with CGC today. I could be wrong, but it's not going to be one that I'm going to be focusing on. Nike has a great daily chart, guys. Popped up yesterday, didn't do much yesterday. Today it looks like it's testing this resistance again, but right now the volume is just so light, only 8,000 shares traded. Now it is a nicey stock. I do expect they are going to get more volume and get going, but at the moment I'm just going to bypass this one. So that could be a good one to have on our scanners. Zoom we have, Docu we have. We definitely like Docu, all-time highs, absolutely. AJM, we'll keep that one on there. BIG we do have. INMD, let's take a look at that one. INMD. Not much going on, very light on the volume right now, so I'm just gonna skip that one for the moment. All right, let's do a few more. EVRI. Mauricio is giving us EVRI. So at the moment, it's got some good volume, down quite a bit. I do like the drop here, down 5.1. Pre-market activity is just starting to get going. Looks like we're starting to get some volume in here. So not the greatest pre-market activity, but I love the drop here, right? We lost this level, so that's nice. And then we have room to, to get down to this area here. We got some moving averages. Yeah, this could be a possible, guys. I'm going to throw it down here again. We have way too many. But we'll try to fine-tune this as best as we can. And Ulta, we have Ulta. Did I add Ulta back on? Yeah, I did. Ulta is right on here, guys. And then we have traded this one in the past. It's a higher price stock, but it does trade very well and very clean. So we definitely want to watch that one. All right. Cool. All right. So I think we have a great list. Peter, take it away on announcements. I don't have a slide for you. We'll get that back next week. But take it away on announcements. Then we'll come back and find some levels on this massive. We started off with 4 on our gappers list, and thanks to you guys, we have probably 20 or 15. Go for it.
That's the way it happens sometimes in the morning, right? Things build, and then suddenly we go from nothing to a whole bunch. So, all right, with that, guys, we do have a couple of announcements. As always, I'll just remind you really quickly about scanners. We always want new ideas for scanners. Help us out. If you've got an idea of how we can improve our scanners in a new setting, go into our forums, add your idea in there. The best idea will win a really nice, expensive device of your choice, frankly, whether you want an iPad, an iPod, if you're really into retro tech, an Android device, an iPhone. Andrew will buy it for you if you're the winner of our scanner contest. So go into forums and add it there. Here in the room, we always have lots of stuff going on. So we have training courses that we run live regularly. I think our next class is next week on the 9th, which is Monday. We're restarting with class 1. While these are all recorded and you can watch the recordings, it's always good to see it live so you can ask your questions and so participate actively in the session. So that is Monday the 9th, if I'm not mistaken. And coming up next week as well, at the end of the week, we have a meetup. So in London, England, we'll be meeting. That's on the 14th. So we hope that anybody who's in London, England, or anywhere in the region can join us there. Andrew will buy you drinks, that I promise. And it's a good conversation. It's a great time to meet other traders. And whether you're actively trading or you're just thinking about it, you're listening in YouTube and you're figuring out what this is going to be like, it's a great chance to meet people in person. Put some faces to the names, stare people in the eyes, see if this is the type of thing you think you want to do. If nothing else, you can get some tips and tricks and hear about other people's experiences. So it's always a good opportunity to do that. And that's on the 14th of December. I'm going to mention quickly just Andrew, as you know, is traveling in Chile, and he's been having some struggles with internet connectivity. However, he did take some videos, which when he got to some good internet, he sent to us, and we've posted into our YouTube channel. Sort of neat to see what he's up to at the top of the mountain, living that lifestyle, right? So he's taking advantage of the opportunity to go run a race this weekend, and he's been training at high altitudes all this week. So check out our videos on YouTube, not only on trading, but on what Andrew is up to these days. Today in the room, I want to mention for all of our members, we moved our trade reviews, which we normally do Tuesdays and Thursdays. And this Thursday, we've moved our noon trade review to today. So something to look forward to at noon today. Eamon will be on to do his trade review. He looks at your trades, gives you his feedback and perspective. We look at not only winning but losing trades, because you can often learn more from those that didn't quite work out, get a perspective as to what you could have done differently. It's a great time. We always have lots of submissions and lots of interaction. So it's a great review in our classroom. Eamon will be doing that. I'll be giving him one of our characteristic intros. It's always a good time. So that'll be at noon in the classroom. And last thing I'll just mention, guys, if you're thinking about joining us, we'd love to see, especially those that are just checking us out through YouTube. We do have some sales going on, our Black Friday sale, Black Week. Anyways, it's Friday again, so let's call it the second Black Friday. But the deal is still active. You can use the code Black Friday 19 to get 40% off our lifetime membership. So it's a great deal. It's a great opportunity. If you're thinking about joining and we're hesitating, this is probably, well, not probably, this is the best discount you're going to see. So you can take advantage of that. But if you're not ready to commit, that's okay. We understand that, and that you can join certainly on a trial using the code premarket24, which is active. You can always get in and take a look and just try us out for a week. See if it's for you, because we acknowledge that not every room is for every trader. But we think we've got a great community. Hell, I get trade ideas and suggestions from our members every day, in addition to hopefully helping them when I have the opportunity to be on the microphone in the afternoons. So let me just check and make sure I haven't missed anything. But I think those are all our announcements for today. Guys, I just want to say thank you for being members here at BBT. We love having you on board. We love interacting with everybody every day. So it's great to have the opportunity to talk to you out there in YouTube land, as well as all of our regular members who are talking to me all the time. So with that, Carlos, let's take a look at some levels.
All right, let's do it, guys. All right, so TVIC, someone mentioned this one in the chat room. So this one it will be a great one depending on what the SPY does today, right? So we need some really big, aggressive move on the SPY one way or the other, and then we can take a scalp on TVIC. Andrew has a video on how we trade this type of stock. Again, we need to be kind of on a scalping mode, but again, right now it's just doing the opposite of what the SPY does. At the moment, I wouldn't be looking to take a trade on TVIX unless, we're at the open with some very, very big volume coming in. So we don't usually add this one to our list. We just kind of look at the SPY. A lot of us keep a SPY chart up next to us so we can see what's happening there. And if we see a big move or reaction, then the TVIX could be one that you can trade for a bit of a scalp there. All right, guys, so let's go through this list first, and then we'll start removing some of the stuff we might not like. Good morning to anyone. Those are joining us now. Welcome, and let's get ready for some levels. So BIG here is, again, pre-market activity, guys. Very beautiful, very active, 1.4 million shares traded so far. So I love the way this is trading this morning. I mean, you cannot ask for a better pre-market activity than this here. Now, one thing, it is leaving this area of some nasty consolidation, so we got to be aware of that. But I think this is looking good and pretty strong right now at the moment. I actually like when they start off like this, opposed to them taking a big pop like this and just kind of getting choppy. I prefer this better. This is much cleaner pre-market activity. We can kind of see and build some patterns right off the pre-market and see how this goes into the open. So high of the pre-market, we have 23.85 right now. We tested that right over here. So let's see what we do. If we're going to hold this moving average on the 20, head back up and test at 23.86. Not a coincidence, guys, that this is the previous area of resistance, the most recent one right over here, right? Going back, so got some clean area here. This is your last area of resistance, 23.86. So anybody long here, that's what they're looking for, looking to take profits off here, or hopefully not getting short, because this thing looks strong at the moment. I would not be taking this stock short. Then above that, we do have an area where it has been tested several times, 24.70. Look at the test here, over and over again, several days. You got this one here, went above it, but then the next day kind of opened up around that area as well. And then above that, if we can really get some wings here, we have 25.70 is the next in the clean area of resistance. If you go back a little more, you can see how these levels are also playing support and resistance over the next couple of days over in July, between July and August. Now let's head towards the bottom here. So below the price action right now, we do have some areas also here before we get to our pre-market low. We have areas right in here where we clearly see support and resistance around 22.53. Remember, guys, these levels are an area. They're not exact, so anywhere near that, you can expect some kind of a movement, some kind of loss of momentum, support, or resistance, or change in direction, right? So clearly 22.53, you have some areas of resistance, you got some support, more resistance, more support happening here as well. So again, this area here, this general area around 22.53, you have a lot of action, a lot of change in direction happening. So definitely have that level or something near that area on your list. Below that, before we get to our low of the pre-market, excuse me, our high of 2 days ago, right on here, you can see that clearly around that 2075 area. You do have one right here as well. Again, this is not the greatest, cleanest pre-market activity, but if you draw this 2156, you can see the bounce right off of that. Beautiful bounce there. You can see support, another bounce off of that level. You can see the resistance right across that when we went below it as well. So again, you have a lot going on at 2156, right? When it breaks down here, look at it trying to break out of this 2156 again. Finally breaks out of it. Has a nice, beautiful pop here. But again, that 2156, you are going to see something around that area. Below that 2156, excuse me. Below that 2156, you have your highs and lows from the last 2 trading days right on here. 1 second, guys. Much better. Have to get some water there. All right, so plenty of levels towards the bottom, guys. I don't think you need to add any more on there. Pretty clean. And the ones that are up here, although this daily chart not as clean, it's got some really good levels that are being tested over and over again. So let's go to CLVS. I don't think I'm going to watch this one, guys. One, the pre-market activity is just not clean. Doesn't have a great action here at all. Has great volume. It is up 1.7. Could be a good continuation day, but just overall, I think the fun is over on this thing, right? So just going to remove this one. I think we have better ones to watch today. CRWD, same situation here, guys. We do have some volume, but the pre-market action is not looking all that great. We're also stuck in a nice, nasty range at the moment here. So this would be great if it can break out of this range, because it's just too many levels that are too close to the price action. I mean, how much room do we have to run one way or the other? So let's get rid of this one for now. A stock like this, what you can do, and you can do this with the Dash Trader Pro, you can set alerts. Set alerts if it breaks out of the previous day close. If it breaks out of this area, you want it to alert you, and you can take a look at it. We can do a video on how to show you how to do those alerts. It's very easy. That's the way you could do it. Or you could do an alert that if it breaks out of 57.50, you want to be alerted. That could be a nice area to run. But right now, we're just going to remove this one at the moment. DT I do like, guys, because we are dropping here and we are leaving a lot of some areas of support that we had here before. So I think this was going to be good. Towards the top, you got plenty highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. Previous day closed right on here as well. We do have room to go towards the low of yesterday, 2 days ago, which is here. And below that, we do have a nice clean area right here, 2260, right? You can see the resistance right there. So that would be a nice target if we can lose the low of 2 days ago. So that'll be nice to see. And then below that, we do have some more right on here, 2148. You can see clearly the resistance on here. I love when stock do this. They break out of the resistance, they come back and retest, and then they take off. So 2148 is a good one to have as well. So that's DT, guys. Pre-market activity is not looking all that great. I do like the volume. I do like the drop. And I also like the daily chart better than actually the pre-market action right now. Right? The daily looks a lot cleaner, a lot better. AMD, so we have a few that are in this pile of AMD. We have Apple. Forgot who mentioned Apple in our chat room. I didn't have that on the list, but this looks actually better than AMD. So I'm going to take off AMD, and I am going to watch Apple. And Norm talked about this, I think it was yesterday, the day before, where Apple just looks like it might want to break out, right? It's got on the daily, it's got a nice area here, might want to break out and just test this all-time high. On a day like today where the SPY is flying, this could be interesting. So I'm going to watch Apple instead of AMD. And the only level we're going to really have here is the all-time high here, which I think is 268.22. Within that area, it might not be the exact number. That's the only level I'm going to put on here. I think that's the only thing we'll be looking for, is to break out of that and hopefully make a new high, squeeze up to 269. That's what I'll be looking for in Apple. So let's head back up, and then before we switch over here, again, towards the bottom, guys, look at all the levels you have. You do not need to complicate this. There's tons of level of resistance, and you have room towards the top. So I'm interested in this to go higher, not interested to go lower, because if it gets stuck within these levels, it can bounce and consolidate or do what it's been doing, just go sideways, right? We want to squeeze here above this 269 towards that 270. Let's go over to Ulta. So Ulta is one that we have traded in the past. The only reason why we have this one on here is because we love the pop, and it has traded well in previous times that we traded it, right? Pre-market activity is now looking great. 259 is the high of the pre-market. Our low of the pre-market at 255.40. So I'm going to mark those two down. Let's go towards the top. As here we have above here, we do have a clean area right over here at 265. There's really nothing in between here. We have this gap here. We have so much space to run if we can get going today. Towards the bottom, we do have our 255 pre-market low. And then below that, we have this area right here, 251.73. So again, might not make our final list. We have a lot on here, but the reason I like this one is we traded it before in the past. It has traded very well. If we don't keep it on our main list, we have levels that we can play with if it does hit our scanners. Turbo breakup or turbo breakdown. Either way, this will be a good one to possibly catch an opportunity. Here is Docu. So Docu at the moment, I do like the pop here, guys. 7.5. It is volume is increasing. Pre-market is not looking all that clean at the moment, but we have traded Docu before as well. It can trade clean, so we do have 79.08 high of the pre-market. Our low of the pre-market 74.52. And then towards the bottom, the next area of resistance that can become support now is 73.26. All-time high here is, I believe we mentioned. So again, no levels towards the top. We have room to run if we can get back to this 79.03, which is our high of the pre-market. The flow, not the flow, I'm sorry, the ATR on this is pretty high, guys. Just look at the range of these candles. We're going from 74 low of the pre-market, 79 high of the pre-market. So just be cautious, managing your risk on this type of trade. If you're using the Kyle Hockey that he worked with Dash to create, you can manage your risk a lot better. If you do not know what we're talking about, search on our YouTube channel, Kyle's Hockey, and there is a video showing you how that works and how you can set that up with your Dash Trader Pro. So here towards the bottom, below the 73.26, tons of levels, guys, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. Do not need to add any more. Perfect stuff there. ZM. So I like the drop on ZM. We're going to do some levels here. Low of the pre-market, 63.15. We have this beautiful base right here, 61.11. Nice pop, changing direction. That's a great level to have. Tested it twice on 2 days, could not break it, and then went the opposite direction. That's good. High of our pre-market sitting at 64.87. So we'll mark that down right here, 64.87. Also, you can see 64.87 tested several times here as well after it dropped below that. Above this, we have the next area of support that can now become resistance, 66.11, right? So you can see here, this one can be one that now can become resistance as we get closer to that area. And then above that, I'm not seeing anything clean within this area here. All right, so not all that clean. You could get fancy and probably mark 68, right? No, we could do that. Let's mark 68 because from 66 to 69, it's a long way. 68 could be a good area. You have some days bouncing off of that, so you can mark that on there. But again, that's a significant level, right? This is a major level here. 61.11 is a major level, right? That's a major one, changing direction. This one here is like a minor level, right? There's a lot going on here, a lot of choppiness. It's not as clean as you would like it to see on these type of levels. So just be aware that this could be a good one just to have as a marker. Above that, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days and the previous day close. Don't think you need to add anything there. YETX pre-market activity still not looking great, looking very crappy, but I do love this drop, guys. Down 24%. Usually when stocks are down this much, they tend to play nice. So 1330 high of the pre-market, low of the pre-market sitting at 1251. We seem to be hovering right above that right now in the action. Above the 1328, the next area, the closest area of support that can now be resistance is 1436. So again, we have a huge drop here. I'm not going to add any more towards the top side. I think this is a big gap to try to close. I don't think they'll do that today. If they do, we're in for a lot of fun. Let's go back a little bit to find something below the price action. We can see here going back to 2018. Yep, 2018, February, March, we have our levels on here. That's 1328, 1250. 51, then towards the bottom, nice clean level here at 1173. Look at the change in direction. We'll mark that down, and just in case we take a dump on this one, we're gonna mark down $11 here, just in case. I don't think that's gonna happen. It's a far way down, but anything is possible in these type of volatile markets. So why ETX we have here? Apple we already went over our levels. Just mark down the high of the all-time high here, guys. Hopefully this thing can squeeze up with the help of the SPY. CLDR is one that we have traded in the past. Horrible pre-market activity. We love the pop out of this area here. So low of the pre-market sitting at 1042. Yep, 1042, and then the high sitting over here at 1090. So we have 2 levels there to look at the moment. Towards the bottom, you have some nice levels, highs and lows, previous day close. So moving averages coming in as well, trying to catch up. So that's nice. Let's go back over here and see what we have towards the top. So in this little area of consolidation here, this little range, we do have some levels here towards the top. I'm going to mark down 1126. You can see 1126. I know it's a little bit small here. The resistance happening here. You got the support happening as well. So 1126 could be a good target area for us to have on CLDR. Now these are some possible here, guys, but I think some of these possibles might look better than some of the ones we have up top. So we're just going to fine tune this list as we get closer to 930. Seva here. So Peter likes this one. It's got some good news behind it. It's not a low flow. It's on the lower side, but it's not a low flow. But I just have way too many, guys, so I'm not gonna have this on my list. I'm gonna remove this one for now. Sage at the moment, I think this can be good for continuation today. Just be mindful, this is a very wild stock. The spread is pretty high on this one. I think it was great yesterday. It was not as bad as it is now. It is the pre-market, so it can get better. But just be aware of that. Just be aware of the spread on this one today. Also, the ATR is extremely high on this one, guys, so be mindful of your share size. At the moment, guys, I do not like the pre-market activity. I think this can it can put in a continuation, but I'm gonna wait for this one to hit our scanners. And really, as far as levels, we're down so much. The only thing I'm gonna really mark is the high of the pre-market and the low of the pre-market, right? So I'm gonna put those down. You got our high sitting at 63.45, and the low sitting at 61. So I'm gonna just mark that down for now. All right, next we have TTEC. So TTEC, there was rumors about this being an offering. So I'm not sure because it is ranging, right? So you do have some kind of range happening here in the pre-market. You got some volume. I don't see it steady at a one price range. So somebody can just double check that and just be sure. I think someone had mentioned
it was a secondary offering. They've issued more stock at 36.50, so that was the offering price. And what is the float? We'll just check here quickly. 14, yeah. So they issued 3 million shares, which is another like 20% on the float at 36.50. So that usually has an impact, although the price is moving up right now. So I'm not sure what to make of that, but that's the news, anyways.
Yep. So with that said, we have so many right now. I'm probably going to just remove this one. Again, I do like the drop here. Do like the volume, but again, just not sure how that's going to trade at the actual open. EVRI also has a nasty pre-market activity. It's got some volume. Has come back here. Let's do some levels. So we have 11.14, which is the low of the pre-market. It's coming back here slightly above the previous day close. So it did a red to green move, not in a nice fashion. High of the pre-market sitting over at $12. Let's see what the flow is for this one. Not sure if we actually checked this one. EVRI. It is 69 million shares flow. So this is good. This is not bad. All right, so towards the top, guys, I think we do have a level in here as well. Check this out. We're at 12.32. We have an area where we have several days bouncing off of that, so that's nice before it takes off. And then towards the bottom, we have our 11.14, which is the low of the pre-market. And then below that, you have this nice little area here all the way down at 10.59. Slightly above that 10.75, you have a moving average, so be aware of that in case this thing comes back down. But it looks like it is trying to recover. All right, guys, I'm going to fine tune this list even more. We have levels for everything on here, so you can actually also fine tune this in what you like best, right? If you have a stock that you'd like trading better than another one, you can do that as well. So big is on my list. I like this one. DT, I'm going to remove from our main list. I love the volume, but the pre-market action is a little bit wild. Also, the daily is not as clean, so I'm going to remove this one here. Ulta, I'm on the fence on Ulta. Docu, I like. It's all-time highs. Not a great pre-market activity right now, but hopefully this can get better as the morning develops. ZM, I do like, guys. Love the drop here. We got some clean levels on CM. YETX is good also. Apple, I like Apple for a possible. You know what? I'm gonna put Apple as a secondary because Apple is gonna be good only if it can break the all-time high. CLDR, Sage, CLDR. Let's see what we have here. Sage, I don't like Sage neither. I'm just gonna get rid of Sage. TTEC. TTEC, you know what, I know it's an offering, but it's just something about it looks good. I think I'm going to keep it. I like the way the pre-market is active right now. It does have a range in it. I think it's worth watching. It's got some decent volume, and it's got a nice drop of 2% here, so it's been pretty weak over the last couple of days. I think I want to watch this one. CLDR, I'm on the fence on. EVRI, also another one that's on the fence. A lot of possibles today. There's nothing great out there that looks just amazing besides big. Big is the one that has the beautiful pre-market activity, good volume of 21%. Ulta is a possible, right? It's got a good daily, but not the greatest pre-market activity, no volume. You know, Ulta, we can put Ulta as a possible as well. So a lot of possibles today. These are ones that I'm going to look at later around, 10:30 when things are settled down a bit. Docu, I like, has potential, right? Not the greatest pre-market activity, but it does have potential. ZM, same thing, guys. Beautiful drop, but just the pre-market, not great, right? But I like the drop. YETX, same thing. Nice big drop here, 23%. Horrible pre-market activity. And TTEC, it's got a great pre-market activity, so we'll see how that develops. Volume is decent. CLDR, possible. EVRI, possible. Apple, so-so. And Ulta, also a good possible. So that's what I like. The only thing I love here, guys, is really big. Big is the only one that I really love this morning. But again, we've seen these type of mornings where we're like, everything looks so-so. Once that 9:30 bell rings, things just start looking very beautiful. So we'll keep our eyes open. And the great thing about having a community doing this type of watch list is that everybody's watching different things that can call stuff out. Give you an example. Thor today is watching big at the open. Docu, which I have as well. Sage, which I don't have. So if he's called something out nice, I could look at Sage. DT, which I don't have. He has that one. And ZM, which we both have, right? Peter's looking at big. Tesla, which I do not have. So Peter, if you see something there, call it out. Docu, which I do have. Plug, I don't have. I don't usually trade that. Peter's watching that. And DT and Sava. So he has about 4 that I'm not watching. That if something comes out there, I'll be looking for Peter to and Thor to kind of throw that out there and give me a heads up. So again, you don't want to follow anybody blindly, but if somebody calls an opportunity out, you can tune into that stock and kind of see if it fits your criteria, your pattern, and if you see a pattern that fits your style of trading. That's very important, guys. Just don't go blindly following anybody. It does not work. All right, folks, that is what we have. Thank you guys on YouTube for joining us. Have a great trading day, guys. I will see you on Monday, so have a safe weekend. It is Friday, so you know what that means. You want to be disciplined and trade only what your patterns, and trade safe and not do anything that's going to cause you to ruin your weekend as you're thinking about, why did I overtrade? Why did I not follow my rules? Why did I try to make this a green day when it could have been, a small green day? Now it's a small red day. Now it's a huge red day, right? That happens, right? Don't force it. And if you had a bad week, today is not the day to try to save the day. Save that for next week. The market's not going anywhere. We have tons of days to trade, guys. And I know it's December, towards the end of the year, so things can get a little funky. But again, today's not the day where you want to save the world. Take care, guys. I will see you guys on Monday, 8:30 Eastern time.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day and a great weekend.